Hello, it's me, Zach, that same 21 years old Russian who left Russia because of the war against Ukraine. And today I'm announcing a fundraiser for my college education. Many of you know about my story, about how I left Russia, about how I got expelled from my university, about my educational story. But for somebody who is new to the channel, I'll try to explain. But for those who doesn't need those explanations, there is going to be a link to that fundraiser in the description below and also in the pinned comment over there. So please, I would really appreciate if you go there and invest in my education. That's how I kind of call it. But for those who are new to the channel, I will try to explain my story, my situation, and why do I need to make this fundraiser. As most of you know, I've left Russia 3rd of March 2022. Basically, something about a week after the war started, 24th of February, I went to the protest in Moscow, almost got arrested. I have a whole video explaining how at one moment I was running away from 6 policemen in those narrow streets of Moscow trying to protest. So eventually I had to flee from Russia because I was really paranoid they're gonna arrest me, they're gonna come after me because of the protest. And also I felt like I need to speak out and actually tell the truth about the war, but it was not safe to do this inside of Russia, so that's why I left. In 2021, I went to the US as an exchange student. I won a scholarship from the American Embassy in Moscow and went to St. Paul College in Minnesota and studied there as an exchange student. And once I returned to Russia in the start of 2022, I had a half a year reserved as a gap year for my university. So I, could not study at that time because of this gap year. And eventually, I was thinking, once the war started, I'm going to leave Russia for a short period of time. The Kremlin regime is going to 100% fall. That's how we thought at this time, people who were against the war. And after this, we're all going to come back to Russia and to live in a democratic society. It's going to be different. That's how we thought, being naive and young, especially me. At that time, I was 20. And eventually, the war is still going on. And, the military coup happens, everything happens, but the regime still stands, unfortunately. And so that's why I wasn't able to finish my education, my bachelor's in Moscow. I had to flee from Russia, and that's why I wasn't capable of visiting the classes in person. And after this, of course, I was texting my dean, my university, if they can create some kind of online classes for me, or maybe just give me some homeworks. I'm going to do them and I'm going to pass all the exams online via Zoom, but they rejected. So that's why on the 3rd year of my bachelor's, I wasn't able to finish it. And eventually right now, I cannot transfer to any kind of university in the US because I need to go back to Russia to do this, and it's not safe for me at all. So right now I'm applying from the scratch to a community college in the US in the city of Myrtle Beach in South Carolina. And some of you may ask, why South Carolina? Why Myrtle Beach? Why have you decided this place? It's like a vacation city. Why do you go there? Well, the only reason is because I have my relative, my aunt, who is living there. And I wouldn't say, my aunt is a really close relative to me because I've only seen her twice in my life. And the second time was when I was visiting the US in 2021. And the first time was in 2020 when she came to Moscow, and I've seen her for 30 minutes in Sheremetyevo airport in Moscow. So I wouldn't say she's a really close relative to me, but still she offered me to stay with her for free. So it's one of the best options for me just to go there, and I would not need to pay for rent for a couple of years of my bachelor's. So that's why I'm going to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and there is no other options for me. Also, I'm going for RE Georgetown Technical College. That's a college which is the only one community college over there, and the cheapest and the only option. Some of you may have questions, what am I going to study? The answer is quite complicated. Right now, I'm really interested into political science and in journalism because of my, YouTube and what I'm used to doing on YouTube in the last 1.5 years. And I want to either to continue developing my projects into something bigger, but for this I need to get this education done, or maybe later to get a job at some of the big medias and to tell about politics in Russia from a Russian perspective in English. So that's my idea about my future plans and my future career. The tuition in this community college is $8,836 a year. I have about $3,000, in the fund for college. So I'm missing only quotes 5,000 and something about $500. So this is the initial plan, initial goal of the fundraise. At first, I was thinking I wouldn't need to make this fundraiser because, as far as I know, students in the US, they can pay firstly for one semester and then pay for the second semester. But once I've started to fulfill my form as an international student, they've said that I need to pay for 2 semesters in advance to be eligible, to be accepted as an international student. Fair enough, you can come as an international student, pay for only 1 semester, but they already give you the visa, and eventually somebody will not pay for the second semester. So I think it's quite logical to me. So I didn't know about this, and so that's the reason why I'm making this fundraise. Visa, there may be some problems with that, because I've heard that right now young Russian males are not really, being successful at getting visas approved because of the war. I think my chances are about 50 or 60% of approval, and I really hope for this. I'm gonna pray for this, but there is still a chance that I will be rejected. So if this happens, you may ask what's gonna happen with the money. If you are the person who contributed and eventually, I didn't get the visa, I will tell about this as soon as I will receive the results. You can ask the money back. I will try to refund it, or you can keep it to me, so I will use them to another educational purpose only. I have another option with Italy, but it's going to be only possible if for the second semester, so basically middle of the December 2023. And still, if I'll figure everything else out about this. But right now, I really hope for my visa to be approved to the US. And so I will be able to get my 2 years of community college done, and then I will try to transfer to a university on the 3rd year of university, and eventually to finish my bachelor in 4 years in university already, and then maybe going for masters. I don't know yet. We'll see how it goes. I hope I clarified some of the questions you may had. So if you want to invest in my education, there's going to be a link in the description below and also in the pinned comments. This fundraiser is going to be created by my aunt because it's not possible for me, being in Georgia, to create one. So don't be afraid of another names except mine. So yeah, it was me, Zach, the Russian. I really appreciate all of your help, and even if you don't contribute, just your kind words of support always keeps me positive about the future. And as usual, I hope there is going to be peace in Ukraine and freedom in Russia one day. See ya.